Good or bad for who? That's a question most people forget to ask when they argue about AI in schools. But I think it's the only one that actually matters. You see, I came across an op-ed in the New York Times published last month. A college president writes about visiting a seventh grade classroom in the Bronx. 20 kids, each on a laptop, working through fractions with an AI tutor. It looked fine from the outside, but most of the kids didn't actually understand what they were doing, and neither the AI nor the teacher's dashboard could figure it out. Here's what makes his argument different, though. He's not saying schools should ban AI. Instead, he's saying something much more specific. When you leave a kid alone with a screen instead of a teacher who knows her, you take away something learning actually needs, which is struggle, the kind where you're confused for a minute before it clicks and all comes together. He shares one more example of a teacher who built an AI tool that sounded just like him. However, his students didn't like it and certainly didn't approve of a robot version of their teacher. So he rebuilt the tool and turned down the AI. Instead of replacing him, it just helped students organize their thoughts before they actually talked to him in person. That's the fix that actually worked, right? Not the smarter AI, but rather a more refined and customized one, built for one very specific job. That's the part of this essay that stuck with me and actually inspired this video. The question isn't should we use AI? It's who was this built for, and did anyone actually ask them what they needed first? The author also brings up something bigger. AI could end up splitting schools into two very different experiences. In richer districts, parents will eventually push to keep real classrooms, real teachers, and real discussions, all supported by AI but not replaced by it. In poorer districts, kids are more likely to end up alone with an AI tutor instead of a teacher. Same technology, only some kids get the version with a human still in the loop. Let me tell you about my daughter for a second. She's a student with Down syndrome, and I recently wrote a book about her time in school thus far. Writing it made me look back at years of what actually helped her and what didn't. What I shared in the book is that nothing generic and institutional ever worked in our favor. What worked were specific pathways and support built exactly around what she needed, not what worked for most kids with an intellectual disability. I'll be honest about something too. We have the time, the knowledge, and the ability to fight for that. A lot of families don't, and that's the real danger hiding inside this whole AI debate. If a specific, well-built solution only exists for families who know how to demand it, we haven't actually fixed anything. We've just moved the unfairness somewhere quieter, somewhere harder to see. So maybe the real question isn't whether AI belongs in a classroom at this point. It's about whether specific tools and platforms actually help specific students. Good or bad for who? That's a conversation worth having as we build for a better tomorrow.